Well, it's nearly 14 minutes past 7 o'clock. There it is, just clicked over. Now, with just a quick vote in Parliament, the ban on the so-called abortion drug was effectively lifted this week. RU486 could soon be available for sale if a doctor applies for permission to use it.
There's been such passion from our parliamentarians over this issue, hasn't there? So was it the right outcome? It's over to our Friday All-Stars. Human Services Minister Joe Hockey, Shadow Foreign Affairs and Trade Minister Kevin Rudd. Good morning to you both. Joe, you happy with the vote?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I think it was the right thing to do. I think it was right that the TGA be given the power to determine if the drug was safe to use. And they're the experts, and no one's better qualified than them.
So you trust them?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Kevin, are you happy? And can we ask you how you voted, or you'd rather
Certainly
not?
can, because it's on the parliamentary record. I voted for it. And the reason...
Is it on the parliamentary record?
Well, actually, you're right.
Because it was a thing of voices and then it just...
Well, we had several votes before the final vote, which basically laid out which way people were voting. But at the end, the Prime Minister did not call on the vote to record those who had voted no and those who had voted yes. But it was fairly plain by that stage who had lined up where in the 4 preceding votes. Am I right, Joe?
Well, 137 out of 150 members of Parliament spoke. And declared their positions. Oh, in fact, I was one of those that did not speak. I thought everything that could be said had been said, but only 13 members of Parliament didn't speak.
Well, I did speak, and as you could probably tell from our discussion last week, I found some of this stuff fairly hard. I got quite conservative views on these questions, but at the end of the day, I looked at it very carefully, and it wasn't a vote about the laws on abortion. They're set by the states and territories. So the big questions for me, as we touched on last week, impact on the health of women, impact on the overall abortion rate. And on both those questions, I could satisfy myself that there wasn't a strong case against this, in terms of my own conscience.
Okay. All right, let's go on to another topic. There's a call to make our Medicare cards smarter to cut down on fraud. Joe, you've been very involved in this because you want more personal details stored on the cards than just medical stuff.
When it comes to health and welfare, I spend on your behalf $92 billion a year, $3,000 every second. And I want to make sure that the money is going to those people who are properly entitled to it. And we do have major problems identifying some of the people and the details of some of those people.
How big a problem? How big's major?
Well, an audit report came out this week from the Auditor General stating that more than 1 million of our records are inaccurate out of a substantial number. So we do have some challenges, and that is simply because some people provide us with the wrong information. They give us the wrong address, they give us the wrong phone numbers. Significantly, they give us the wrong date of birth. And therefore we end up calculating entitlements on inaccurate information, and it's a real challenge for us. And finally, I just say this: surely there has to be a simpler way of collecting Medicare than having to fill out a form or going into a Medicare office and claiming the cash back. We're looking seriously at electronic claiming of Medicare, where you just swipe your card at a doctor's surgery and the transaction's complete. And that's just common sense. If we're going to make real strides in service delivery,
I think everyone that's
we have to go down the path of reducing red tape.
Everyone's ever queued up for hours on end. We'll agree with you. Kevin, what do you think on this, though? I mean, there's a lot of information to be stored on it. None of us want fraud, but is this almost a sort of another way of getting us to a national ID card without calling it a national ID card?
We're a bit concerned this might be a de facto ID card debate because the question which Kelvin Thompson, our Shadow Minister, has asked Joe is, what is the actual information to go into the chip? That is, beyond your name, beyond your address, beyond your photo, fingerprints going in, are all those sorts of other details going in. So that's why we're not prepared to give this the green light at this stage. We actually want to know that. And secondly...
Are they? Can we ask Joe now? Is that
what's going on? There will be basic information. We haven't settled on what the identifiers...
For example, do you think?
We haven't settled on that yet. I mean, in Britain, they have just passed a national ID card, which every resident of Britain has to have, where they have 13 identifiers, 10 fingerprints, 2 eye retina scans and a facial scan. Now, there is no way we are going as far as that.
They sold that on the fear of terrorism.
But if the fear of terrorism is a legitimate reason to have a national ID card, so be it. But my card, my smart card, is focused on service delivery first and proof of identity second.
But because Medicare is a universal system, which we did bring in years ago, everyone's got a Medicare card, right?
Almost everyone.
Okay, apart from the richest Australians, perhaps. But therefore, everyone's going to have one of these cards. So the question we have, is this a backdoor debate into the ID card debate? And if so, let's have it all out on the table.
Joe's saying hasn't been decided, and as far as he's concerned, no, it's just to improve service delivery. If it is just to improve service delivery, you'd have no problems with that.
Well,
would you?
absolutely. In terms of streamlining health and efficiency and reducing waste and all that in terms of the taxpayer dollar, yes. But security of the data between government agencies and outside government agencies?
Yep,
Kelvin Thompson's raised these questions, and I'm sure,
You know
Joe,
what?
you'll be briefing the opposition
but you know
any day
what's,
soon.
Well, but you know what's interesting? If you go to, say, a Video Easy store and you give them a photocopy of your driver's licence, the kid behind the counter can go into a website of the Roads and Traffic Authority with that photocopy and can look up your driving record.
Right, and if they didn't know that, they do now.
Well, they do, but there is very little privacy that people have today.
Is that why I got so many late fees? It's
Well,
Can I, sorry, just
yeah,
really quickly,
sure.
I just need a yes-no answer and nothing more. ACT Greens are wanting to allow 16-year-olds to vote in elections. Kevin, do you think yes or no?
No.
Joe?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, that's fair enough.
He's sitting on the fence, all right.
Depends how they vote.
Joe.
Fair call, all right.
That's the honest truth. Well, that's absolutely right. All right, guys, thank you for that.
Why do you think the Greens are proposing it?
And I want both of you to go home, please, and check on your neighbours. Check on your neighbour, Joe. That'd be great. Thank
They should
you.
be checking on me.
Depends how you vote. Thank you. 7:20.